We're keeping our eye on Chuck Hagel, who was just seated, and his testimony will start in moments. But in the meantime, for more on the implications of this huge political upset, let me bring in the senior political writer for BuzzFeed, McKay Coppins, and Washington Post opinion writer and MSNBC contributor, Jonathan Capehart. Well, this is not what we expected to be talking about this morning. We were all up probably later than we expected to be last night, McKay. You wrote about this morning, I guess almost glee, ebullient is the term that you used. One Tea Partier used last night when he heard Eric Cantor's loss. The exact opposite from John Boehner's statement, which read, "Eric Cantor and I have been through a lot together. He's a good friend and a great leader. My thoughts are with him and Diana and their kids tonight." But how does Eric Cantor go from being a young gun, kind of the heir apparent to the speakership, to this?
Well, it's funny. I talked last night to a bunch of these Tea Party kind of leaders who were having a dinner party when the race was called. They were at Brent Bozell's house in Northern Virginia, and they were caught as flat-footed as anyone else with this development. They were not expecting Eric Cantor to fall, and actually none of the national Tea Party groups had put any money into this race at all. They had assumed that Cantor would cruise to victory, and a lot of them assumed that he would eventually become Speaker. I think that what we see here is that Eric Cantor did not spend a lot of time in his district. He spent a lot more time on Sunday shows and talking to national press than he did doing kind of the retail politics that you need to do when you're facing a real primary challenge. And I think that, there was a lot more excitement among the Tea Party than he realized. We saw reports that Cantor had consultants telling him he was 20 points up in their internal polling.
His internal polling showed that. There was another poll that showed him up, I think, 9 or 10 points, Jonathan. I mean, look, they had a bad presidential election, the Republicans, with their polling. And congressional districts are notoriously bad to try to poll. But my gosh, what the heck happened here? He won by 11 points.
Right. Well, one of the explanations I read was that the turnout, and by Chris Cillizza of the Washington Post, that the turnout in Cantor's district was higher than expected, higher than expected by the people doing the internal polling for Eric Cantor. So if you're using turnout for your model with numbers that don't match the numbers that actually happen, it's going to throw things off kilter. And for poor Eric Cantor, it completely obliterated his chances of winning and turning him into probably the most shocking political story that we can remember.
Here's what I think is fascinating about this, because anybody who works for Jansing Company knows that I've long been a proponent of boots on the ground. He got outspent, Dave Brett, 26-1 by Eric Cantor. Eric Cantor spent more on steak dinners than Brett spent on his entire campaign. Sarah Palin wrote this: "He won the trust of voters the old-fashioned way, one by one. Tonight's victory showed the power of the local grassroots, the ones with boots on the ground who put up the campaign signs and go door to door to provide needed support for great candidates." And I've got to wonder, if you're in one of these tight congressional districts, does it make you rethink the way you approach the rest of this campaign?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fascinating that you can spend millions of dollars and not have any kind of real impressive turnout operation. If you're going to spend that much money,
$5 million?
If you're going to spend $5 million on a race, you better have a lot of people out there knocking doors and getting people to the polls on Election Day.
But this speaks to the hubris of the Cantor campaign, but also, I mean, can you blame him? Your internal polls show that you're going to win with 60% or more of the vote. You're the House Majority Leader, and so we've never seen a House Majority Leader lose. Right. It's already difficult to unseat an incumbent, so he's an incumbent who's also in the leadership. Everything, all the indicators said to Eric Cantor and the people supporting him was that he was going to win re-election and win it big. Didn't turn out that way.
All right, I just yes or no answer this question before we go. Was the demise of the Tea Party overstated?
I think so.
Oh, I never thought the Tea Party was in demise. The Tea Party, as Boehner said, Speaker Boehner said, the Republican Party is the Tea Party, and that's because the Republican Party latched itself onto this movement filled with anger, and now they're seeing what happens when you latch on to a movement filled with anger.
Jonathan McKay, great conversation. Good to see you both.
Thanks.
Thank you.